This is how to AI segment your lead list so that you actually can start sending relevant messages to the right people rather than just spraying and praying with no strategy, right? So what we're going to do here in this example. So one of my clients, they wanted to have all the companies that use Stripe that have 50K plus traffic and are a PLG SaaS with specific pricing on a pricing page. So this was like not a pricing page where you just click to do a demo, but instead there's like tiers, right? So I'm going to go over a specific part of the fulfillment that we did there. There's a couple of different ways to get Stripe domains. There's a couple of different ways to get the actual search traffic. Those are different types of enrichments. But I wanted to show off specifically how you can use AI to enrich and segment your actual lead list, right? So as you may know, within the framework that I use, which is the CESRP framework, so context, enrichment, segment, relevancy, and personalization, essentially this really falls into the enrichment and segmentation part, and primarily the segment part, right? So this is what I like to do. For this particular example, we wanted to find all the product-led growth SaaSes, right? So softwares that are more product-led rather than sales-led. And then if they have actual pricing on a pricing page, right? So what we did here first, to be efficient with our spending, first thing you do is, well, let's look at the results actually. Let's look at some results. So this is the results we got, right? Yes, vMix is a product-led SaaS business. They offer this, this, and that. Here's their pricing tiers, right? So it found all these tiers that I wanted so that we can actually have a yes or no answer for this as we go. So to show you more of the prompt of like what we actually did here, we engineered a prompt here with the Clagent to access and scrape the internet at scale, and then act as an expert website researcher on this domain, right? So whichever one's actually relevant. If it's a PLG SaaS company, return yes. If it's not, then return no. Also find all the other stuff, right? So local pricing, locate the pricing page, check for pricing tiers or a subscription model. If there's not one, say no, right? So we scraped all of that at scale. And then after that, what we did is we used the content enrichment within here, right? So we didn't use web research anymore. We just interpreted the data we already got. And we were like, okay, based on this type of data from the response from this column, tell me whether this domain is or is not a PLG SaaS with pricing tiers on it. If it returns yes, perfect. We can filter that, and I'll show you here in a second how to do that to get all the yeses. And then if it's not, then it'll return no. And we did the exact same thing to just get a little bit more specific. Sometimes it misses some things. So we basically did the same thing. Is there pricing tiers available on the domain or not? If yes, then you return yes. If there are not, then return no, right? You get the gist. So initially, we can see here there's 25,000 domains that we had within this file. And when we unfilter this and we give Clagent a second to load here, then we can see that there is a lot of no's, right, on each column. And then there is some yeses, right? And we're actually going for these yeses, right? So once we get that yes, no for all 25,000, essentially, then you want to create a text column. And the reason you want to do this is because of the difference in functionality of filtering within Clay, particularly when you convert it to text. So the way you do that is you just click on the response, add as column, and then just have it, name it whatever you want, right? So that's what we did there. Now, what we did here next is literally just click on the column, add a filter. And since we were wanting to find all the yeses for this particular campaign, and you could also use all the no's, right, in different campaign, you just want to put if it's equal to yes. So we can see roughly 1.7K of the 25K domains that are from Stripe are PLG SaaS, right? And then we want to do basically the exact same thing for this column, right? So let's do that here. Filter on this column. Is it equal to yes again? And then we'll click here. And roughly 1.4K met both criteria for this particular campaign. Well, let's double check it, right? Let's make sure that this actually makes sense. So let's just like look at one of the examples here. Okay, purchase, buy software. Yeah, and there we go, right? So here you can see there's different PLG SaaS tiers as well as other tiers. So for our client, this is actually a very relevant, very, very relevant prospect to market to. So that's how I would do a lot of segmentation using AI. Another example, what you could do is actually the B2B or B2C. So let's say we use content enrichment and we use my key here. And we use 4 mini again. Then what we can do is tell me if, or based on the description, and then we're going to do, let's say this, and we'll do the response. Tell me if domain is a B2B or B2C offering. Only return B2B or B2C as an answer. Nothing else. All right, so this is more of a manual prompt I just wrote. You can also use Clay's kind of like Claygent prompt where it generates you a prompt, which is pretty cool sometimes, but it doesn't really do as well as I'd like it to do sometimes. And it uses kind of like different types of logic. Right? So right now for the beginning, we're going to test it out and just do like 10 rows here. And it'll create another column. We give it a second to load. And after a couple seconds here, you can see it loaded perfectly, right? So here we have B2C, B2C, B2B, etc. And let's say we want to segment this again, right? Let's just make it an interactive example. So B2B, let's make this B2B column. And here we have it, right? So now we would do filter. And let's say we only want the B2B ones. So B2B. And then make sure it loads. And we can see that now we have all the B2B PLG SaaSes that have pricing on page, right? And you just run that at scale for the other thousands of leads. Hopefully this helps. Let me know if there's any other types of AI segmentation you guys are doing or you'd like to see specific examples, or if you want help with this on your own campaigns and really run advanced segmentation and enrichment, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn. It's the same name as my channel here, and see you guys in the next one.